Taehyung and Jungkook were spotted at one of Japan's international airports that day, waiting for their departure time back to Korea. The presence of the two BTS members immediately drew attention, not only from fans who happened to be on site, but also from airport staff and media who were quick to capture the different atmosphere around the departure area. There are no big announcements, no excessive crowds, but the aura they bring is enough to make the atmosphere of the airport feel more alive and warm. Taehyung appears in a relaxed but classy style. Casual clothes in dark shades are combined with simple accessories, reflecting his character, who always looks effortless. His face seemed calm, occasionally looking around, paying attention to small details at the airport, from the passing of passengers to the sound of suitcases shifting on the floor. Jungkook was beside her, wearing a comfortable outfit for the trip, with a more subdued expression than his usually energetic image on stage. Her hair was neatly styled, and her gestures showed a relaxed but still alert attitude towards the surroundings. The two walked side by side, unhurried, as if enjoying a brief moment before returning to their hectic routine. The interaction between them looks natural and contrived. Jungkook occasionally speaks softly, while Taehyung listens attentively, then responds with a small smile that instantly steals fans' attention. Moments like these, which look simple, are actually the most valuable thing for ARMY, because they show the human side of two global idols that are usually only seen on grand stages and large screens. The airport waiting area. Taehyung is seen checking his phone, possibly reading a message or updating his schedule. Jungkook sat not far from her, in a relaxed posture, occasionally straightening his legs or moving his shoulders, as if unwinding after the previous series of activities. There was no sign of overexertion, but it was clear that both were in a transitional phase, a brief pause between busyness that never really stopped. Some fans who recognized them chose to keep their distance. There were no sudden shouts or crowds, only admiring glances and restrained smiles. This calm attitude of the fans creates a safe and comfortable atmosphere, allowing Taehyung and Jungkook to remain calm in public spaces. From a distance, some people managed to capture the moment briefly, but the majority chose to enjoy their presence with great respect. Airport staff were seen running errands as usual, but occasionally glanced in the direction of the two stars. Taehyung and Jungkook's presence did not interfere with the airport's operational flow. It was part of the dynamic of the day. Their steps, facial expressions, and the way they interact give the impression of being professional and warm, a combination that can rarely be found in the midst of the hustle and bustle of an international airport. Taehyung had time to stand up and stretch his body, then sat back in a more comfortable position. Jungkook watched for a moment, then chuckled, a spontaneous reaction that showed the closeness between them. None of the dialogue sounds obvious, but their body language is enough to tell a lot. That togetherness feels like a safe space where they can be themselves without the pressure of a big camera spotlight. Time is running slowly at the airport. Other passengers came and went. Announcements were heard one after another, but the focus of many people remained on these two figures. Not because they're trying to attract attention, but rather because their presence brings a different energy. Taehyung with his calmness and Jungkook with his mature youthful aura create an interesting balance to behold. This moment at the Japanese airport becomes a small piece of Taehyung and Jungkook's life that is rarely exposed in depth. No stage, no choreography, no background music, just two best friends waiting patiently in a public space. It is precisely in this simplicity that many fans feel closer to them. Every little gesture, every brief smile, and every look caught on camera is the subject of heated discussion on social media. Before long, the two were back on their feet, adjusting the position of their bags and jackets. This gesture indicates that their waiting time is almost over, although there are no significant changes in the surrounding atmosphere. They remain calm, remain restrained, as if they're used to this kind of rhythm. Jungkook took a half step in front, then stopped, making sure Taehyung was beside him. A small gesture, but enough to show attention and togetherness. Taehyung and Jungkook's presence at the Japanese airport that day is proof that behind their status as global icons, there are still simple moments that are lived calmly. No drama, No fuss, just waiting time filled with light conversation and sincere togetherness. For fans, this slice of time is not just a short piece of news, but a real picture of how these two BTS members live their lives in between the incredible rush. This airport moment may be short, but the impact is long. The photos and short video are a reminder that Taehyung and Jungkook remain themselves, warm, humble, and respectful of public space. In the midst of a fast-paced, spotlight-filled entertainment world, this moment of waiting at the Japanese airport became a symbol of calm, friendship, and the transition to the next step in their journey. The atmosphere around them still feels calm, even though time is moving and airport activities are getting denser. Taehyung looks around again, this time for a longer time, as if he had kept a piece of the Japanese airport scene in his memory. His expression did not indicate excessive fatigue, but rather a mature calm, typical of him. Jungkook, on the other hand, appears to be more silent, but occasionally makes small nods as Taehyung speaks, signifying a light conversation that stays awake between them. The presence of these two figures creates a kind of invisible space around them. People pass by, but the distance is maintained naturally. No push, no mean distraction. Some of the fans who are closer seem to be holding back, just whispering quietly, making sure the atmosphere remained comfortable. This reflects the respectful relationship between Taehyung, Jungkook, and the fans who understand the importance of private space in public places. Jungkook adjusted the position of his bag, then stood for a while before returning to his seat. The gestures are simple, but they show the habits of a person who is used to being in public spaces without losing a relaxed attitude. Taehyung watched her for a moment, then smiled lightly, a small expression that immediately became a highlight for those watching closely. There are no loud conversations. Everything feels personal and restrained, as if the airport is a safe haven from excessive glare. Waiting time at the airport is often boring for many people, but for Taehyung and Jungkook, this moment seems like a chance to breathe for a moment. Sitting side by side, they look comfortable with silence. There's no need to constantly talk, because being together in itself is enough. Gestures like these often go unnoticed by the public, but they are proof of the closeness that has been built over the years together. Several airport staff were seen approaching to ensure the situation remained conducive. The interaction was brief and professional. Taehyung and Jungkook respond politely, nod slightly, then return to their original positions. No exaggerated gestures, no uncomfortable expressions. All took place naturally, reflecting their long experience in dealing with similar situations in different countries. In another corner of the waiting area, the sounds of announcements are heard alternately, merging with the footsteps of passengers and the wheels of moving suitcases. In the midst of the hustle and bustle, Taehyung and Jungkook remain the center of attention without having to do anything. Their presence is enough. The calm aura they emit seems to dampen ambient noise, creating an interesting contrast in a usually stressful public space. Jungkook is then seen leaning slightly towards Taehyung, saying something in a low voice. Taehyung listened seriously, then nodded slowly, his facial expression showing understanding. This brief interaction confirms that communication between them does not require many words. Body language and expressions are enough to get the point across. Fans watching from a distance seem to appreciate the moment. There was no aggressive approach, just a look of pride and excitement. For many people, seeing Taehyung and Jungkook in this relaxed state gives a warm feeling, as if reminded that despite their great status and global achievements, they still live a simple routine like everyone else as time went on. The two were back on their feet almost simultaneously. Their movements are coordinated by nature, as if they're used to moving in the same way. Taehyung tidies up his jacket, while Jungkook makes sure his personal belongings are in order.